So many of the conflicts that we view and experience on a daily basis center around social media. Posting misinformation, DMing someone you probably shouldn't, commenting something potentially harmful, swiping right on your neighbor on Tinder, knowing full well you'll see them every day, but you just, sort of can't help it, and just me? All right. It's like all context is erased because we feel removed from the person on the other side. So, does that mean that it really is true that out of sight means out of mind? Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Say Psych right now. I'm your host, Gabriella, and today we're going to be playing Myth Bust or Myth Trust, where we take a well-known concept and see if there's real science behind it. On today's episode, we'll be reviewing Out of Sight, Out of Mind. To explore this, we will turn to research done in 2013 by Chantal Dendas, Michael Hafner, and John DeWitt. Their research centers around how cognitive states alter the focus of attention, namely impulsive and reflective states based on the impulsive reflective model by Stack and Deutsch. For context, those in impulsive states process and are driven by the immediate incentive value of incoming information without any real consideration for long-term consequences. Those in impulsive states tend to focus more on salient information, which tends to be emotional, sexual, or motivationally relevant. Conversely, those in reflective states view situations more broadly and in context, in taking immediate incentive information, but also distributing their attention to all available information. Dendas, Hafner, and DeWitt used eye tracking to measure attentional focus in people in induced impulsive or reflective states. They tested 31 heterosexual undergraduate students and used a priming measure to manipulate the participants' cognitive states. This priming measure involved showing them neutral objects and having them answer as to whether they thought the object was functional or not. The term functional was chosen because it is purposefully vague and usually debatable. An impulsive state was induced by administering the priming test and telling the participants that the test only works when you answer as fast as possible and do not think before you react. They were given feedback to respond faster if they took more than 1 second to respond. A reflective state was similarly induced, with participants being told that the test only works when you answer after deliberation. They were given feedback to give their responses more thought when they answered in under 2 seconds. With the priming complete, the participants were made to look at 8 photographs of people in their underwear, where 4 were of men and 4 were of women. They measured 2 quantities using eye tracking: dwell time and fixation count. Dwell time refers to the duration of the fixation of a participant on a given area of the photograph. Fixation count refers to the number of fixations on a given region of the photograph. The researchers divided the photographs into 2 regions of main interest: sexual information and contextual information, where contextual information referred to the background of the photograph. The results of the study showed that those in impulsive states spent significantly more time dwelling on the sexual regions of the photograph than the contextual regions, while those in reflective states maintained a relative balance between both areas. Fixation counts showed similar results. This indicates that people in impulsive and reflective states have different attentional foci, with those in impulsive states focusing more on salient stimuli and having a sort of blind spot for context. While this does not necessarily mean that they will behave more riskily or that they will not be able to resist impulsive temptation, the results do seem to show an attentional emphasis on the most emotional parts of a sensory input at the expense of awareness of context. Returning to the myth we are attempting to bust or trust, it seems safe to say that there is some truth to out of sight, out of mind, but seemingly more so for those in impulsive states. Indeed, another breakthrough from Say Psych right now, parts of the human experience are, in fact, nuanced and complicated. Beyond that, if we narrow it down to our original focus on impulsivity and social media, I would argue that social media might act as a great means for inducing an impulsive state, just like the priming manipulation did in the experiment, by cultivating split-second decisions while consuming content, liking, and scrolling. Furthermore, in social media, the emphasis is seemingly always on sensational, salient content, and any contextual information is largely removed, including a lot of the reality of the individuals on the other side of the screen. So it seems that your favorite social media site might be the perfect storm for your better judgment to go out the window, and for out of sight, out of mind to ring true. So all that's left to say is thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Say Psych Right Now, and to my neighbor, if you're watching this, please text me back.